Mass Gang, Clash at the Castle, Scotland, 2024, and we kicked the night off with the undisputed WWE title match. Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, I Quit match. This match was brutal. There was chairs, there was tables, there was beatings, there was handcuffs. Both guys were bloody. They were beating the absolute shit out of each other, and I loved every moment of it. They made AJ Styles look credible, which we all knew. We kind of all knew what the outcome of this match was going to be. We kind of knew that there was almost a 0% chance that Cody Rhodes, of all people, was going to be the one to say I quit. I think we can all agree on that. If you went in and, thought that AJ Styles actually had a chance to win this match, I got some beachfront property on the moon to sell you, because it wasn't going to happen. But what ended up happening was what we all thought. Cody Rhodes came out with the hard-fought victory. AJ Styles should have never involved that man's mama, because Cody Rhodes went off. He went absolute ape shit, beat the actual living shit out of AJ Styles. Now, I'm hyping up the match, right? So now I'm going to have to tell you what I don't like, because you knew it was coming. Why they do AJ like that, man? Why they do him like that? It's one thing if you're stuck in some type of tough submission, or like something like you have like an injury and your opponent is like twisting your ligaments, like putting you in a position to either quit or your career is in danger of ending. They basically had Cody chain AJ up to the ropes, beat the shit out of him, and then Cody grabbed the steel steps, held the steps over his head, and the sheer fear in AJ Styles' heart, seeing Cody Rhodes hold up those steps, made that man say, I quit. And I say this as politely as I can. They made AJ Styles look like a straight up bitch. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. That man wasn't in a submission move. It wasn't a situation where your career is about to get ended because, you have an injury and your ligament is about to snap. Cody basically put the fear of God in that man's heart by holding them steps over his head. And get this, guys, get this. Here's the worst part. After AJ said, I quit. What you think happened? Cody still popped his ass with them stairs, man. Oh my goodness, man. They couldn't have made AJ Styles look worse. I hope that WWE is crossing over with TNA, because at this point, let's just have AJ go over and have a quick Legends run in TNA, because Cody Rhodes just bitched him out, man. Oh my God. I love AJ, but come on, man. The triple threat women's tag team championship match. Okay. How do I unpack this? This match was okay. It started off okay, but I don't know what happened at this point in the show, because from this match forward, with the exception of a couple matches, it was like botchamania. Like everybody was botching like the rest of the night. It all started here though. The women were doing a great job. Like, this was a pretty decent match. And then towards the end of the match, it just got real sloppy. I don't know if the fans were too loud. I don't know like what. But the absolute biggest botch of the match, I'm sorry, I love her. The biggest botch of the match was Jade Cargill, man, trying to springboard off them damn ropes and fell flat on her damn face. The people that hate Jade Cargill probably stood up and rejoiced. I felt bad for Jade. What I would suggest, honestly, and this comes from someone who has practically no physical wrestling abilities. I do feel like I have a quite significant amount of wrestling knowledge, but physical abilities, no. I would suggest that, especially if she's winded or gassed, or if the match has already been going on for a bit, I don't think Jade should try to do that move anymore, especially at that point in the match, because you could already tell that she was tired before she tried to do it. I'm not surprised she botched that. I'm not surprised. It was embarrassing, and then that wasn't it. I felt like she was shook after that. I felt like that shook her because it felt like everything she did after that point just looked sloppy. It just looked sloppy. The ending of the match looked sloppy. Isla Dawn hit her with a German suplex, and you know that looked like whatever. I will say this. I am 100% happy that Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn won that match, because honestly, I feel like coming up from NXT, and if you watch my old videos, you'll hear it. I felt like they got screwed. I was super high on them coming up from NXT. I felt like they should have put those women tag titles on them and let them run with it. Let them run with the division. Let them hold those titles for a significant amount of time and build the prestige of those titles. And now they have those titles back. I am 100% against the idea of putting two singles competitors, particularly if they're both at the top of their division, in a tag team. I don't like that. I like the idea of Bianca and Jade. That was cool. The idea of them feuding with each other is even better. It's even better. But yeah, I don't like two guys. Like, okay, if you got a team like, let's take the men's division for example. Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. That's okay. They're not at the top of their division. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. They're not at the top of their division. Miz, R-Truth, they're not at the top of their division. It's okay for those two singles competitors to form a tag team and be tag team champions. But when you take people like for instance, I've never been big on even when the Brothers of Destruction were tag team champions during the Attitude Era, Kane and The Undertaker, I've never been a big fan of that. Like, you got two studs in their division teaming up, like basically taking away the opportunity for like tag teams like the Dudley Boys and guys like that, like monopolizing that division, and I've never been a fan of. The only way to rebuild the tag division is to let tag teams become great. And you could never do that if you got two top single stars teaming up to hold the titles. Didn't like Sami Zayn teaming up and winning with Kevin Owens either. The Usos, yes, they're a tag team. The New Day, they're a tag team. But anyway, back to it. I didn't like that, but I love the idea that Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn won the women's tag team championships, did it in their home country, and I hope they hold the titles for a very long time. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Intercontinental Championship. This has to be it, right? I mean, I've enjoyed this feud, but I can't see Otis keep getting slapped around. I can't see Sami keep trying to save Otis Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree. I just can't. This is a good match, as expected. Come on now, we're talking about Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. Obviously, this was a very good match. Some very good points of the match involving Otis. So here's what I thought. Honestly, here's what I thought was going to happen. And this actually would have been crazy. I mean, should have been, could have been, would have been. But, you know, I got to tell y'all what I think would have been awesome. So you get to a point in the match where Chad Gable distracts the referee with Sami hanging over the middle rope. Maxine is holding the Intercontinental title because Chad Gable handed it to her. And so with him having a referee distracted, he expected Maxine to hit Sami Zayn with the title. And of course, as has been the case for the last few weeks, Maxine's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I can't do it. And so Chad's like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? Stand on the apron. For a split second, I thought that we were just dealing with pure genius. I thought that it was their plan to have Maxine pretend that she couldn't hit Sami with the title, only to stand on the apron, have Sami get distracted, by the almost haluva kick and get hit with the Chaos Theory pin 1, 2, 3. So when Sami kicked out of that, I was like, damn, if the match ended right there, that wouldn't have been horrible. That would have actually came off a little bit genius. Like a double fake. I can't hit you with the title. Let me stand on the apron, get berated. Let's trick Sami. So once that all played out, Maxine, I can't remember. She ended up on the ground crawling. Oh yeah. Chad Gable ended up walking her down and intimidating her. Otis gets in his face. Otis is like, hey, don't talk to my woman like that. Don't treat my woman like that. And, well, I mean, he didn't actually say that, but that's like basically the point they were giving off. And Sami dived on Otis, who took the bullet for Chad Gable. And then Chad gets on the apron, and he dives and hit Otis and Sami with the move. So at that point, Chad is looking at Otis like, hey, I need you to cheat again, attack Sami, and Otis didn't do it. Instead, Otis picks up Maxine Dupree and starts to walk off, which Chad is distracted. He's like, where the hell are y'all going? Boom, haluva kick, 1, 2, 3, Chad Gable is pissed. But don't you guys think that it would have been awesome if somehow Maxine ended up being the one with the balls to help Chad win the match? Like, I thought that would have been awesome. Maxine's been limping around all this time. I'm hurt. Only to find out that she's not that hurt, which, I mean, they still might go that route because, like, really, how bad did you get hurt, dude? And why are they playing up that injury so much? That injury is going to have to come into play again at some point. I wouldn't be surprised, dude, if, and this is going to sound crazy because this is like some attitude era stuff right here. What if Maxine screwed over Otis, kisses Chad Gable, and then it's like, now she's like one of the most hated women on the WWE roster. She somehow in that span, because at this point, I think this Chad and Sami Zayn thing is over. It's going to switch over to Otis and Chad Gable, and I just have a gut feeling that Maxine Dupree is going to fake out Otis and get with Chad Gable. I just think that's gonna happen, but at the same time, I don't know, because they've already telegraphed, or they've already put it out there that Chad, he is married with kids. So I actually don't think they're going to go that route, but they could still go a route where Maxine screws over Otis to help Chad and just be his manager and take out all the like romantic part of it. But that's kind of why I don't like them bringing wife and kids into every storyline, because it keeps us from suspending belief a little bit, and it takes away certain opportunities for certain storylines to present themselves. Bayley, Piper, Niven. After Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn won earlier in the night, I started to really believe that Piper Niven had a chance to take the title away from Bayley. I started to believe it. Piper Niven, she put up a good fight. I'm not even gonna lie, there wasn't really much to this match. We had a little bit of interference from Chelsea Green, but I mean, we kind of all knew what was up, man. Bayley had a lot of fanfare coming into the match. I kind of even felt like the fans in Scotland were riding with Bayley a little more than the hometown girl, Piper Niven. Bayley was in there. Bayley got the job done. I'm really curious to find out who Bayley will be challenging, or who will be challenging Bayley next. But for this event in particular, I think, well, I know who's challenging Bayley next. What am I talking about? It's Nia Jax. It's easy to forget that King of the Ring was just like a couple weeks ago, and that Nia Jax has an opportunity at SummerSlam. I don't know how we're gonna get. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know how we're gonna get from now to SummerSlam with those two feuding. Nia Jax has gotten a lot better, but Nia Jax, Bayley, I don't know like who necessarily is going to lead the entertainment aspect of that feud, but I digress. Anyway, Bayley came in WWE Women's Champion, left WWE Women's Champion. All right, it's main event time. Men's World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre in his hometown of Scotland, home country of Scotland, versus Damian Priest. The first thing from beginning to end, I'm going to point out things I've realized. And I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. Okay, first and foremost, I felt like as loud as a reception that Drew McIntyre got in his home country, I feel like it was still smaller than Cody Rhodes' reception. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, was WWE piping in Drew McIntyre chants? Because I swear those chants sounded like they were on track. It did, because while it was on track, it sounded off track. Oh, Drew McIntyre, oh, Drew McIntyre, oh, Drew McIntyre. Like, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like, it didn't sound like a natural chant. If it was a natural chant of Drew McIntyre's name, it would have been, oh, Drew McIntyre, oh, Drew McIntyre. But instead it was, oh, Drew McIntyre, oh, Drew McIntyre. Tell me if you guys noticed that, or if I'm just tripping and I'm hearing things. Anyway, let's get to the actual match. Drew McIntyre came in there. He got a good ovation. Damian Priest came in there. They were kind of just like, whatever. Had another botch. Another botch. This was just a very botch-friendly show. Damian Priest, in what definitely wasn't scripted, got tied up in the ropes. He was just hanging upside down like a freaking piñata. Like Drew McIntyre was just gonna grab something and just beat him and a bunch of candy was gonna like pop out of his ass. Like, that's how long Drew McIntyre was hanging upside down. And then at some point they must have realized Drew had to explain to all of us. He explained to all of us, the fans in attendance, the people watching at home, hey, I have to let him out of these ropes because that's the only way I'm going to win the match. I think that was, I don't know if the referee wasn't strong enough to do, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it was a botch. Anyway, the match continued. They were laying some heavy hits on one another. They were landing some completely heavy hits on one another. And they hit both of each other with their finisher and secondary moves, both kicked out of the match. And then what happens? The referee gets knocked out. And at that point, I stood up because I knew what was about to happen. What was about to happen has been something that me and Petey Stunt have been talking about for weeks. We both said, and I've said it to people in the comment section of other videos, I've said it to people on Reddit. CM Punk has been way too quiet. I knew he was coming. I knew he was in Scotland. CM Punk slid in that ring. You didn't know it was him at first. 1, 2. You look up, who is it? It's goddamn CM Punk. And when I say Drew McIntyre became the embodiment of rage, he grabbed CM Punk by his collar and looked like he was gonna just rip CM Punk apart. And then CM Punk kicked him dead in the nuts. He kicked him right in the nuts. Family jewels, whatever you want to call them, that's what CM Punk kicked him. And what did that lead to? The South of Heaven. Then all of a sudden, the referee wakes back up. Oh, what's going on? Oh, 1, 2, 3. And when I say that crowd in Scotland fell dead silence. They wasn't even booing. They weren't booing. Outside of the 3 guys that were hugging CM Punk, after he screwed Drew McIntyre, that entire crowd was in complete and utter shock. I wasn't because I knew this was going to happen for weeks. I knew it was going to happen for weeks. And it happened. And we knew CM Punk was going to screw over Drew McIntyre. And now the stage is set. The stage is set for CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, SummerSlam. The stage is set. Damian Priest, Gunther, SummerSlam. And it all makes sense. So that's pretty much it, guys. Clash at the Castle, Scotland, 2024. I think it was a cool show. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. This is the Crimson Mass Show. I'm MFGDs, and we out.